it looks like this, I don't know if this is in a bathroom or where it is exactly, but yeah, I don't really like looking at these very much. This is another really, probably the weirdest, most awful one that we have. He's making, I mean, look at his eyes. You can see this showing his teeth. Looks like he has like a headset in, and is just another super weird selfie. These all the way were taken, by the way, were taken after the murders, so keep that in mind. Here's another one where he's doing some kind of salute. Looks like there's some clothing in the background. Now that we've seen pictures from inside of this apartment, we know that we know what the closet looks like, and I think that is his closet. And by the way, if you look at his knuckle, you can see there's like a little red mark there, which is interesting when you consider that he may have been injured during the attacks, and all of these are from after the murders. So the selfies are new. Again, they came from Kohberger's phone. We first aired them on News Nation, and you know, these forensic analysts who've been going through the phone have been continuing to, a lot of this stuff was already found, but they're continuing to share with us, so that's where those came from. The other big new thing is these allegations that Bryan Kohberger was stalking women, which is something that I have always wondered about, and this reporting comes from People magazine. They obtained police reports from Idaho State Police. 2 women apparently made the reports. Poor Mo, by the way, he's trying to be so quiet when he cleans it. It's okay. People will forgive you if it's a little loud in the background. It's also about to rain here. But anyway, this is reporting from People magazine. They were able to obtain these police reports from Idaho State Police. 2 women apparently made their reports. They said that Kohberger would make daily visits to see them at work, according to the interviews. And they said that Kohberger made unexpected visits to their homes. The first woman was an employee at WSU bookstore who said Kohberger seemed very used to being put off by women. She told police that in August or September of 2022, she was home alone one night, changing in a room.
Man, you too, Kate.
Someone knocked on her window. The woman then called her husband, and the person ran off, she said.
Really
and she said that it happened more than once.
My one person in here was good.
Another time after she had started working, she heard someone moving around on her porch at approximately 7 in the evening. Her husband came home and
taking
saw
a mad
the
shit
white
on you.
car
What's up, little
leaving the area.
offensive? How are
Again, it's
you?
reported in this police report that was obtained by People. And remember that Kohberger drove a white Hyundai Elantra, and back to that police report, her husband came home and saw a white car leaving the area. Kohberger also seemed to have researched her, she said, knowing personal details about her that she never volunteered to the former criminology student. He once came in and asked for her by name, she told police, according to the report, and said she is certain that she never told Kohberger.
Absolutely shattered. Why are you shattered?
A name tag. Kohberger
What's up?
What hours she worked and made remarks about her hours. So apparently stalking her, following her. The other student allegedly stalked by Kohberger worked in the criminology department with him, but was an undergraduate.
Sounds like me.
That student said that she was a lesbian, according to the police report. That apparently, but that apparently didn't stop him. And that she says that he was seeking her out almost daily. I'm kind of surprised, by the way, that these reports are just now coming out. This seems like something that would have been in some of the court evidence, but this is the first we're hearing of that. The report also said that she was told she was not the first person to have problems with Kohberger, and she recalled one night that she was working late and saw Kohberger walking outside her house as she was locking up. According to the report, Kohberger made eye contact with her when she looked out, which seems strange because you would have to be looking directly at the window where she worked to make eye contact. And she told police that she had been getting ready to lock up at the time and eventually ran and hid in a bathroom to avoid Kohberger when she saw him enter the building. Sorry, this wasn't at a house. This was apparently.
I hate when I get no sleep.
Really surprises me when you
but I usually only get like a couple hours.
That I got from Idaho State Police of all of his co-workers and colleagues who were so concerned. This woman learned that she lived fairly close to Kohberger. Another classmate of Kohberger, this is now another incident, recalled an incident according to these police reports that People obtained when she felt someone was outside her window.
AM or
soon after
PM?
found snow footprints leading to the back window of her apartment. That classmate noted that whoever had left the footprints, had backtracked within the tracks. She also told police that another classmate heard someone trying to open the door to their home a few weeks prior to that incident. This all, again, stands out to me for a couple of reasons. Number one, because of the police reports that I saw from Idaho State Police, from other co-workers and colleagues and co-burgers who felt super creeped out from him at Washington State University. And number two, because so many of Kaylee Gonzalez, one of the victims, so many of her friends said that she reported that she felt
yeah,
like she
I would
was
hate that
watched
so
in the
bad,
backyard of
dude.
their house, that one time when she let their dog Murphy out, she felt like there was someone in the woods watching. And even Bethany Funk, in her new police interview that we just got, talked about Kaylee saying that. Listen again to this part of the interview with Bethany Funk and think about it in relation to what we just read from this People report.
Once Kaylee said, when everyone was like gone, me and we're at the sorority house for a meeting, and this little Kaylee, she was taking Murphy out to pee. This was a while ago, and she said she swears she saw someone staring at her while she was taking the dog out from the backyard.
So it seems
That's
like
creepy.
Brian Koberger
What a
was
creepy
stalking
guy.
this woman based off of police reports.
He was
Whether
stalking
he was
everybody.
actually stalking the victims at 1122 King Road, we may never know. But I do find that report that Kaylee gave so many of her friends to be very interesting when you compare it with this. So that's the latest for tonight. Again, sort of an impromptu. Sorry, the audio is probably not great, but I wasn't planning on doing this, but we got these pictures and these reports pretty late. We're packing up again. Mo's almost done. It's literally about to storm. Like there's a major storm coming in. We're in Albuquerque, New Mexico, working on a different story for News Nation. But then this dropped, so we switched.
But things are improving.
I'll talk to you guys
Saw you
later.
live, so that's all good. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you came. What's up, Brian? Glad you're here. Listening to some true crimey stuff, sort of, I guess. For a minute, at least. Okay, let's listen to something else.
Such a good kid. It's hard, it's hard because it's hard to know. He was just an amazing human. He loved everybody and
Okay, I don't want to hear all that. Sorry. We only speak English in the chat. What's up, David? What the fuck? I don't know whether to listen to true crime stuff or what. What's up, Stogie? What's up, Bogdan? Who said it's not great? I don't know about all that. Hey, what's up, Jesus? You're in South Africa. Nice. Your gumbo. Is that sweet, sweet green? It is. It's a lovely time. You do. You have permission from me. That's all you need. You're good.
Hello, everyone. I am with a very important person here. Sitting down for your first interview, Kristen. I'm with Kristen Dowda. Kristen is the niece of James Brock, also known as Jamie Brock.
Oh, this will be interesting to hear.
Jamie and his wife, Kristen.
I'm just gonna have this playing in the background when we talk because I like listening to true crime.
Were murdered on February 20th, and since that
Is it
time,
9:30? It's 1:30 in the morning
earlier
here.
this month,
So yeah.
Guys,
don't forget to hit the like button. It really does
was
help.
arrested, Sarah Grace Patrick, for murdering.
I have 30 tattoos.
While they slept.
Mainly on my arms, like my lower
There's a
arms.
mountain of evidence.
From elbow down.
Grace's family has spoken out, and her grandfather says she's innocent. Doesn't believe that she did this. After crying in a eulogy, after going on TikTok, sobbing and saying that she misses her mother. Her family is now saying she is innocent. But now here, for the first time ever, I have someone from James's side of the family to share their version of what they believe happened, speaking out for the first time. And Kristen, I know you are nervous. I know you have notes. I know you have important things to say to me. So I want you to know right now that this interview is for you and for your family, to share what you want to share, to have your voices
not
for
anymore.
The first time. And for those that are just learning about this case, we have an entire backstory here at Hidden True Crime.
It's 1:30 in the morning.
In the description of this episode, as well as in comments.
Crows, no, they're just birds. But
so, Kristen,
I want to get them changed to bats, actually.
First off, let's just start from, I think I have one main question for you because of recent interviews with Sarah's side of the family. Do you believe that Sarah is innocent?
No, I do not.
Do you believe that Sarah killed your uncle and his wife, Kristen?
I do. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Why do you think that?
They are, yeah.
It pretty much from the beginning, honestly. I think anybody that hears that she didn't hear gunshots, I think that it's been put out here recently that the house was unusual and the rooms weren't that close, but that's not true. The rooms were very close. The house was small. The bedrooms were all located in one area of the home. And, I mean, of course, I'm not out there with a measuring tape, but if I were to guess, between the doorway of Jamie and Kristen's room and Sarah's room, maybe 8 feet.
Okay. And not only gunshots, but also the heart monitor that woke up their little girl, 5-year-old girl, Jaylee.
Right.
Do you believe that was going off for how
I mean,
long?
it's 8:33.
Hours.
I guess where I am. Where?
But it came out and it's public now that Jaylee not only heard the heart monitor, she heard the gunshots. And her room is next door to Sarah's.
So Jaylee heard the gunshots too?
Yes.
Can you confirm just how many gunshots are wounds there were? Because we have heard mixed.
Right. I can confirm exactly, but multiple. I mean, more than 2 or 3. I mean, So you combine the gunshots and the LVAD monitor.
Guys,
going
don't forget
off.
to hit the like
that's
button.
a
It
lot
really
of
does
noise
help
for
me.
a house that's small and the bedrooms are close together.
Right. And so, in other words, she allowed. So if this is true and she is guilty of doing this, she allowed her sister, Jaylee, her half sister, 5 years old, to go and discover the crime scene.
That's right.
Like
What
and sub.
does
Hey
the
Brian,
public
can you throw
need
up
to know
my Venmo?
about Sarah Grace
Just the
Patrick
Venmo,
that
if
we're
you don't
not
care.
hearing? Because again, we're hearing now that she's not who the media has painted, and that she is traumatized by losing her mother, and that she has cried and given a eulogy. What do we need to understand about Sarah?
I think we can start with the eulogy. It's public knowledge now that the investigators immediately thought it was a red flag that she said, "I'm sorry," at the end of her eulogy. That video has been out since, I'm pretty sure, the day after the funeral. Her dad posted it. It's been public this entire time. But what people don't know is that after she got done and the funeral was over, she went one by one to everybody in my family, everybody that knew James, and also hugged us and said she was sorry. Which is an odd thing to say when your mother was murdered. You know, we don't know exactly what she meant by that, so I'm not going to say that I do, but if it's weird that she said "I'm sorry" in the eulogy, it's
I'm
very
good.
weird
How
that
are
she
you?
went around and said that she was sorry to people who lost, and we did. We lost an uncle and a brother and a friend, but she lost her mother. We were sorry.
That is interesting, because an investigator has stated, people have pointed out that at the end of her eulogy, Sarah said sorry, but some people thought that meant sorry she was crying. But you're saying that the sorries continued after the eulogy.
Absolutely.
To too many people.
Not only did the sorries continue on the day of the funeral, the sorries continued to my mom in particular, and I can speak for my mom. That's why I'm here, is to speak on behalf of our family. You might see my face, but this is from everyone. But she continued to call and text my mom for
The daughter did it, yeah.
multiple times
She
a week,
killed the
to
mom
tell
and
her
stepdad.
that she was sorry that Jamie was dead, and she was sorry that she lost her brother. And I mean, she manipulated and lied to my mom and tortured her for 5 months.
Did you suspect her? Did any of your side of the family suspect Sarah Grace as being responsible for this, or did your mother, James's sister, believe her?
Nobody believed her.
Really?
I don't know anybody that believed her. And I can't speak for her family. And I won't say names because it is an ongoing investigation, but I can say that multiple members of her family told my mother that Sarah was involved.
And so what does that look like when you say involved?
Crazy work.
Was she acting on her own? Did she pull the trigger?
Hit that like button,
Was
y'all.
this a conspiracy? Well, what do you think happened?
The theories, I don't think any of us have a solid theory. I mean, maybe now, but then we didn't think it was possible that she acted alone. And I still don't know that she did, because it just seems odd that she would be the one to pull the trigger.
No gun found in the house?
No.
Yeah, and Jamie and Kristen didn't own a gun, is that correct?
They did not own a gun. If there was a gun in that house, that would be shocking to me.
Yeah. What
Crazy.
kind of person was Sarah Grace that you guys would suspect her? Because we've heard that she was smart, that she was going to go to college and graduate high school and make her family proud, that she was beautiful. You guys are seeing of her?
I can't speak a ton of it on her. I wasn't around her a lot. But I'm not here to tell a story. Every time I was around her, she was very sweet. She was very, open to talk to whoever was around. She struck me as a sweet girl. She did. But I didn't get along with her.
Dark.
And so, Jamie has said multiple times that you don't know the real Sarah. He didn't go into detail because, to be honest, you know, when he would tell my mom that, she would be like, oh, Jamie, you've never raised a teenage girl before, you know. And you're not supposed to think anything more of that. But he said multiple times, she's not the sweet Sarah that you guys see. She's not who she puts online. You don't know the real her.
That is interesting. So that is from your Uncle James. Wow.
Yep.
About his stepdaughter.
What's up, Cold
Tell me
Killer?
about your uncle. You shared a voice message with us from your Uncle James. It was really sweet. We shared it in our backstory.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about who he was and how you want to remember him too.
Yeah.
Everything
I
tastes
guess when
super
you
weird. I
hear
wonder if
that
it's because I'm on
niece,
antibiotics.
You think, oh, you know, everybody has an uncle. They are not close in age. They're not that close. But that wasn't the case because he and my mom have an age gap. So we grew up in the same house together. My mom and dad were divorced. We lived with her mom, and so did Jamie because he was a kid. And so we grew up in the same house together. And, you know, we eventually, you know, moved out of that house. He got married. He had kids. But after he was divorced and everything, we were in a point in our lives where we were both, you know,
a hidden
didn't
true
know
crime
what we were
video
gonna do, and so we
about
got a
this
house
girl who
together.
killed
We lived
her
together
mom and
as
stepdad,
adults, you know,
allegedly.
and we were very close. We always stayed very close.
A really good guy, right?
Right.
A lot of people have a past.
And then she
Your
went on
uncle
to do
had
the
a bit of one
eulogy
that
at her
people have
mom's
shown
funeral.
online and tried to, I would say, paint him in a picture that maybe isn't completely perfect. But no victim is perfect. I want to point out there's no perfect victim.
No.
But he was wonderful. He was loving. He was good. He was.
Yeah, crazy work.
So you were his roommate.
Yeah. Yep.
You would know better than anyone.
And about the past, you know, like you said, everybody has a past. It's not every day that your posts from Facebook get brought up for the world to see from 5 years ago, 8 years ago. It doesn't matter. That's not a normal thing that happens. Everyone, you know, has fights on the internet or, you know, whatever. But, you know, as far as the case goes, that has nothing to do with the case as far as we're concerned, because we're confident that the investigators have looked at every avenue. They know their past. They know they know everything. You know, we weren't trying to not say anything. If we could help, we wanted to help. You know, if this could help find who did it, we wanted everything to be explored.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, you mentioned your mother suspecting, everybody's suspecting Sarah. Did you also suspect her despite wanting them to search, you know, every lead they had? Did you suspect?
I did, yeah. Yeah. We all did,
it was an
but
okay day.
We weren't stuck on it, you know. We wanted to make sure that everything got looked at. If it wasn't her, if it was her, it doesn't matter, you know.
And was that more because of the circumstances, as you point out, the house layout, how there's no way she couldn't have heard something? Was that why, or were you also thinking, wait a minute?
Yeah, how about you, Cold Killer?
There's more to Sarah Grace.
At first, yeah, the gunshot's super weird. But yeah, I mean, it goes back to Jamie saying that about her, but members of her own family said it after the murder, you know, and that says a lot to me because, you know, if I was in that situation, I don't think any of my family members would have said that about me. So if you're going out on a limb to say that about your close family member, I think that speaks volumes.
Take us back to February 20th, if that's okay. When all of a sudden you learned the news, where were you, and what was happening on your end?
A normal day. I was at home. So my mom got the news first. Her husband is in law enforcement, so he actually came home to give her the news.
Went to the range, like the gun range.
And then he called me to tell me that, you know, I needed to come there and what had happened, which at the time we didn't know. It wasn't immediately told to us that they were killed.
And so how did you finally find out then?
It was
That
several
sounds
hours
nice.
later that they actually gave us.
Sounds like a
what
fun
happened. We just
time.
knew that they were both deceased, so that gave us hours to wonder what in the world happened. How was it both of them? But the kids are okay.
So were you in touch with Sarah during all of this, or no? Just not? Because I know you didn't know her that well. Did you hear what? Nothing.
No. We made sure to ask that they were okay and that they had somewhere to go and everything. But no, we didn't talk to her at that time.
That must have been heart-wrenching to hear about your uncle.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you feel, since the arrest, that perhaps they will see justice?
I think so.
I bet it is.
I think a lot of people are saying that it took so long and they just had to make a move, the investigators, to make an arrest. And I don't see that at all.
Not really.
I think it's a good thing that they took so long. Because to me, if you are going to have 4 warrants, 2 for murder, and have a judge sign off on that to arrest someone, I feel like that's pretty solid. They did their due diligence in getting the evidence that they needed.
Absolutely. You mentioned too that you're speaking up now, not just for yourself, but your whole side of your family, for Jamie,
Right.
side of the family. Why are you choosing to do this now? Can you share your why this was so important to you, your mother, and the side of the family for you to
Getting a
speak out?
haircut.
I mean, it's like this anytime, but when something like this happens,
hang on.
everyone
Someone
speculates.
screaming at me again. I'm gonna go
when
put
you
this
only
up.
hear, from one person or from one side, that it gives fuel to the fire. So after the arrest, we were told by members of Sarah's family to not post, to not do interviews. We were asked to take down anything that we had put up about Sarah being arrested.
Wow.
We didn't take anything down, but we had no intentions of doing an interview.
Sorry, I'm back.
If they're not going to do it, we won't do it. It is still an investigation. We can only say so much anyway.
Yeah, I just had to put that in the
everybody on
thing.
the internet that is asking questions the answers. We just can't. But when it came out that her family was doing interviews, then I think that every side needs to be told.
I completely agree with that. Every side does need to be told. Absolutely. So
What's up, Yasmin? How are you?
Quiet a little bit, and so you're saying it's time for us to, share our side. What's going on?
I don't know what the motive is. The only real motive is it's public. It's in the interview that her grandfather did, that he's hoping that someone steps up to be her lawyer. And that's his right to do whatever he wants to, but that doesn't mean that we need to stay quiet.
While they were looking for the killer of Kristen and James, your mom was out there actively posting, requesting help, getting the word out, right? Because that's what you have to do when tragedy hits, when true crime hits your family unexpectedly. Nobody ever expects to be victims of true crime, right? It happens. Your mom was a very active participant in getting information out there and asking for help and begging for help. And one thing that people pointed out while Sarah Grace was very active on TikTok crying, was she joining with your mom at all to try to say, let's look for answers? Was this a united effort?
So they were in contact. Like I said, she talked to her all the time. But as far as, my mom probably posted every single day.
She was just arrested not long ago.
And never once did Sarah just repost her TikTok. Just something so simple, just push share. She never did that. She was active in the comments. She made her own TikToks, but never anything that was straightforward saying, help me find who did this. And what strikes me as
how
weird
can you just not care?
She didn't seem afraid either, because I made in that situation, I may not have posted because I would be afraid that someone came into my house and killed my parents while I was asleep, apparently. But that didn't seem to be the case.
Yeah. You know, Sarah's story, has it remained the same?
No, absolutely not. We have heard the story, and I'm not just speaking for me, my mom, her family, and perfect strangers on the internet have heard her story 1,000 different ways.
What's changed?
Anything and everything. I mean, if she could change it, she did. She went from
What's up?
not hearing certain stuff to hearing certain stuff. That what she did immediately after, what they were doing before they went to bed. I mean, it's like she didn't practice, maybe, what to say.
So
Yeah.
So yeah, pretending she didn't hear anything and then saying, no, I did hear the shots and the monitor.
Yeah.
Yet still letting Jaylee wake up and go find them. I can't get over that. That's like one thing I can't get over.
I know.
What do you think the motive is then? People are wondering, why do this?
Honestly, I have a theory I can't share, but, regardless of what it is, if it's what most people think it is,
Thank you.
I'll say that. Anybody that's ever been a teenager, you've gotten mad at your parents before. You have not liked what they said. You thought that they were the worst person ever. You were mad. Whatever. But what you didn't do was kill them.
One thing that's been talked about with Sarah is possible mental illness, because again, we see her on TikTok day in and day out crying over the loss of her mother and stepfather.
Yeah,
and
that's cute. I
for
fuck
those
with
of
it.
us watching this from afar, we're gonna wonder about mental illness or what is happening, what this is. It's
Once
so
the
shocking
algorithm gets you,
to
things
see
go
these
crazy.
TikToks and then find
What
out
do you mean?
that she's arrested for this crime.
On
But
TikTok?
I have a question, because Dennis, someone that has done interviews saying that he believes his granddaughter is innocent, said she has no mental illness. Can you help us understand what is true and what isn't? Is there mental illness that Sarah Grace was dealing with?
So this is a popular opinion on the internet. As far as I know, no, she doesn't. And her grandfather just went on the public record to say that no, she absolutely did not. So we have to tend to agree with that. He said that they were very close. I mean, he would know.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, he did. So, okay, so no mental illness, crying on TikTok, giving a eulogy. I mean, she's really well spoken. What about, the boyfriends or ex-boyfriends? That there's been speculation online, a lot of it. So I have to ask about an ex-boyfriend and a possible older man. Was she dating someone at the time, or what was the situation there?
So the boy that's going around online that got arrested, to my best knowledge, has absolutely nothing to do with it. This was her ex-boyfriend. They had long since been broken up. At the time of the murder, she had another boyfriend that, I don't know exactly how long they had been together, but they had been together long enough that Jamie and Kristen knew him. He had been to church with them, and he was at the funeral.
He was at the funeral while she gave the eulogy.
He sure was.
Wow. Anything else you can tell us about this man?
I cannot speak on him. It is still an investigation that's ongoing, so I don't want to speak on him.
I respect that. We'll move on. I understand. And respect your boundaries during this interview. And moving forward, again, if there's something you don't want to answer, please just tell me while I ask away. Another question I have is this yard sale. There's been talk of a yard sale online after the murders that they were selling all of the belongings.
I
the
have
house.
30
Can you help
tattoos.
us understand what this yard sale was?
Nothing tastes right to me. I think it's from my teeth.
What actually happened? Because there are a lot of rumors.
So,
Pedaling when they have an e-bike.
the investigation went on for quite a while. They pretty much gutted the inside of the house. They were not kidding when they said that they did not leave any stone unturned. My mom was laughing because I don't know exactly what happened, but Jamie had done some deal where he bought, like, I'm not kidding, 500 tires. And so he had them all stacked up nice and neat in the backyard. They looked inside every single one of those tires. So it was a mess. So it was really do your best to come and find anything that you want. So, you know, Jamie has 3 older sons. They all came to find something of their dad's. They all had something in mind, and they had to look forever. My mom went to look. She had something in mind that she was looking for, and Sarah was there to get what she wanted. And while everybody was looking, just for example, my mom was looking for the one thing she wanted was a hoodie of Jamie's that she had sent him that had ramen noodles on it. Just something so silly, but that's what she wanted. That's the sentimental thing that she wanted. And his oldest son, Tristan, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like a can or something, like a monster can or something. It was just, what they were looking for was absolutely just, you wouldn't know unless you were them, you know. And
sentimental to them.
Exactly. And they found it weird that what Sarah was looking for was an unopened comforter. My mom found a really, like I said, it was really hard to find stuff. So my mom is digging. They're literally digging through trash. I mean, there's trash bags full of stuff that's their stuff and trash bags, you know, because they wanted to figure this out. They went through everything. So my mom,
that's a logical answer.
She finds this shirt of Kristen's, and she tells Sarah that, you know, look at this. This was your mom's. Like, this is so cute. And Sarah says that it's her mom's favorite shirt. And my mom said, oh my gosh, you need to take this. You need to make it into one of those teddy bears or one of those pillows, you know? And she says, no, you can have it.
Wow, that's telling. But she wanted the unopened comforter.
Right. There's another story just like that. My mom's best friend went with her to the house. I wasn't there. My mom brought her best friend with her to help her, and there was a piece of artwork on the wall that I'm guessing Sarah made, but I'm not going to say that for sure. It was a kid's artwork. And so my mom's best friend told her you need to take this. And she was just like, oh, okay. You know, I've been in that situation. So I'm not speculating. Like, you know, my dad passed and I brought home the weirdest stuff with me from his house, you know, just stuff that he had wrote on. And, you know, so the unopened comforter doesn't totally sit right with me, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Was Sarah protective of Jaylee? Like, after the murders and before her arrest, was she concerned about her little sister?
I won't say that she was or she wasn't. I'm not very sure. I know that she saw her here and there.
What's up, Duke?
You know, she saw her at the funeral and she saw her at her graduation. That was recently, but I really don't know.
Do you know how, and if you can't talk about it, it's okay, but do you know how little Jaylee is doing? You know, we're all so concerned for her well-being.
I mean, she's 5. She's happy most of the time, but it's not a secret to most people, I'm sure, that she is traumatized. She is, you know. Nobody should have to see that, you know. And she talks about it here and there, but you know, we answer questions. You know, she wants to talk about her daddy, you know, and about her mom. She does that, and she's comfortable doing that now. But you know, she is traumatized from it. You know, and we do get to see her. Her and my youngest son are besties, you know, and she loves her Aunt Kim, my mom. So, you know, she's happy, but not something she should have seen.
Absolutely.
And she was
So sad.
incredibly close to her parents. Like, I mean, she was with them all the time. She was the baby, you know. Jamie's three of his kids were grown, you know, married kids, you know, everything. And then he has this little girl, his baby, and you know, she loved her mom. She did. I am not taking anything away from Kristen because she absolutely loved her mommy, but she was a daddy's girl. I mean, they were so close.
Yeah, she's only 5.
My mom would keep her overnight. She'd want to go stay with Aunt Kim.
They're
and,
talking
you know,
about
play
this
with my son. My
girl.
son would go over
She was a
there,
teenage girl.
and
She
as soon
killed
as she would
her
wake up in the
mom
morning,
and
she would
stepdad
call her
and
daddy
made
without even
her
telling my mom,
5-year-old
"Daddy,
daughter
I'm
or
racy now."
5-year-olds
My mom would, "You don't have
sister
to come
find
get her. She can
them.
stay. I know you're busy." You know,
And
he had doctor's
then
appointments
she
and
went
all
on
kind
to
of
do the
stuff that he was always
eulogy
going to, and
at their
he'd be like, "Nope,
funeral.
if my baby wants to see her daddy,
And
I'm coming to get
like
her."
at the end, she said she was
So
sorry,
they were tight.
and so
They were
everybody was
very
like, "What
tight.
the fuck? Like this is a eulogy, and you're
My
sitting
heart
there
goes out
saying
to
I'm
her. It's
sorry."
just so sad.
And then she said she's sorry to
think the
every one of
thing
the
that
family members, and everybody was
can't get
like
over,
looking
I mean,
at
it's the
that
thing I can't
sideways.
get
Like
over
that's
either.
kind of
It's just
weird. That doesn't usually
the
happen, even
crying
investigators.
TikToks,
So
the eulogy. And they were real tears. We see real tears.
she
you know,
definitely
no?
did it.
Not real tears?
She said she didn't hear gunshots or
Um,
anything, but her
I
5-year-old
think one of
sister did.
there was the interview with Dennis,
And a heart monitor, because he had a heart
the
monitor. The
investigator,
stepdad
or
had a
maybe she's
heart
not an investigator,
monitor,
but she was
which
the one that did the
stopped
press
and it was
conference.
beeping.
And she was in this interview day before yesterday, whenever it was.
Super crazy.
And she said that it was a red flag to her, the eulogy, but that she wasn't there, so she didn't know if she was really crying or not. She didn't see it.
Okay.
But I did. I was front row at this funeral where I watched her do this with my own 2 eyes, and not a single tear was shed. And this isn't something that I thought about afterwards. This isn't something that I've gone back to the video and looked for. I was thinking it at the time. I was thinking, what is this voice that she is doing that sounds like crying, but a tear is never shed? And you can see on the video, she doesn't wipe a tear. She does not have a tissue. She does not shed a tear. Her eyes are not red. It's not speculation that she was not crying. She absolutely was not crying.
Okay. So what were your thoughts then? You're front row watching this eulogy. What's going through your mind?
I mean, it was one of the weirdest things that I have ever witnessed.
Yeah.
You know, my mom.
I imagine it is.
Jamie's oldest son spoke at the funeral. One of their good friends spoke at the funeral. There was tears. My mom needed her friend up there with her just to get it through it. And I think it's weird that Sarah, after losing her mom, got up there in her dress and did this big long speech, and
she was wearing a sundress too.
Didn't ever stop to gather herself. I think it was very weird.
So were you suspicious at that moment?
You know, we had all kind of, you know, talked about it here and there, you know.
She has a different voice thing too.
The funeral wasn't right away.
What do you mean?
So, you know, we had talked and everything, but
like, did you listen to her eulogy?
Kind of a big, like, wow.
It's
and then
wild.
After the funerals, you know, they were together. Their funerals were together, and so then afterwards there was going to be like a lunch for everybody to eat and everything. And when she came around to start saying that she was sorry to people, I had brought my best friend with me that was close with Jamie, and we left. We didn't even say bye to anybody because I was like, I cannot allow her to say that to me. I just watched her do it to my mom, and I'm not going to allow her to do that to me.
Okay. Yeah. Since the arrest, have you gone back and revisited some of the TikToks and the eulogy, like since she's been charged with these murders? Or do you avoid that?
You know, if it comes up, you know, I might, but I don't really need to. I was watching them in real time. I mean, I saw it in real time. She was not shy about what she posted, and she was not shy about talking to my mom and
I have 30 tattoos.
my mom's best friend, who were both relentless and posting and trying to find who did this. She had no problem talking. She had no problem. Anything that she said in those TikToks, I assure you that she was blabbering to everybody that would listen.
Red flag to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And again, not reposting your mother's efforts, not really asking for much help, just sort of seeking, would you say sympathy? That's what I see.
Of course, I don't know what she was thinking, but to me, it was.
No, they're mostly on my arms. They're like just a bunch of different
sympathy,
ones. Like
trying to
just a bunch of different things.
Look elsewhere because she's a sad person that lost her mom, and she absolutely,
Crazy.
she did. She lost her mom. She deserves to be sad, but the weird TikToks just kept getting more weird. So, I mean, what are you supposed to? It's very. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, I guess it's left up to people's imagination. What she was trying to do.
Red flag for sure.
There's a mountain of evidence.
Yeah,
we haven't seen
make music. I was in a band for 10 years.
I won't ask you if you know more, but do you know about more evidence than the public knows?
Some, yes. But I would not doubt for a second that they have mountains of evidence, because I know of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of correspondence between my mom and the investigators, and that's just my mom. Given information, leads to follow, things to look at. That doesn't even account for all the people that, did reply to my mom while she was, posting and looking, that would say, hey, I know this. Should I tell the investigators? Absolutely. Because we don't know what it is. We don't know what little thing could help them. So 5 months seems like a long time, but the amount of stuff that I'm sure that they have doesn't even. They really worked hard on the case, and I know that they were working every single day, because they would tell my mom and they would update my mom.
I know you mentioned that you have your own motive, but you don't want to talk about it. Understandably, respectfully, I get that. Can you share whether or not you think there might be another arrest made?
I can say that it wouldn't surprise me.
That's fair. What
What's up?
do you want to say? I want to make sure your voice is heard. I know, like I said, you're not just speaking for yourself, but for the whole side of your family, for James. James and Kristen, but you are related to James. What else do you feel like it's important to share?
Just because I am speaking for Jamie's family, we, are absolutely.
It's my computer.
That, about Kristen too. This isn't, one or the other. Jaylee is our family, and she lost both of her parents. Not just Jamie. She lost both of her parents. Kristen has another child that's not Sarah. He lost his mom. Jamie has 4 other kids, 3 grown, 1 not, and Jaylee. So all of them, they lost their dad. And I think that people need to be really cautious about what they say, because you don't know. And digging up stuff from some of this stuff, I'm not even sure where people get it from. I'm like, I knew them. I talked to them all the time. I'm friends with them on social media. Like, where in the world did you even get this? But they have children watching, grown children. Jamie has grandchildren. This is stuff that they're going to see. And, it may turn out that none of that's true. So why put that out out there forever, and Jaylee already is, going to have it hard enough. This is forever for her, she is this child that this happened to, and so the other stuff really is, not necessary until we know more, and I'm confident that there's a lot more to know.
heartbreaking to see family members talk so probably just common, just hearing us discuss your family and your loved ones on
Right.
YouTube and
Yeah,
on
Jaylee is a pretty.
social media. And you're right, this will last forever for them.
And it's kind of important for us to, say something publicly because we can't put out every fire. His kids are saying stuff to people, don't say this about my dad, my mom's saying don't say this about my brother, but there's, 1,000 fires and only a few of us. So, if you can put all the fires out at once, maybe, just say like, this is, I guess some of the things that I've said have, cleared up some of the answers, maybe, especially the big one that I keep seeing is the mental health. Something had to have been, she had to have been in all of these mental hospitals and medicine and stuff. And, her grandfather came out publicly and said no. And
That's crazy.
that's her grandfather. So,
You don't know.
he's obviously going to know more than I do. So we'll take his word for it. We would tend to agree that that's the case. We never heard any different. Jamie did say, what I said he said about her, about you don't know her. Never anything about any kind of mental illness or anything.
As Hidden True Crime dug into who James was in his life so we could allow our listeners to get to know him better, one thing was very clear, that he overcame a lot in his life. And he was a fighter, and he was resilient, and he was working really hard, and he was a good dad. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about your Uncle James?
And this goes for him and Kristen both. They never met a stranger. They were talkers. They were jokers. My mom we were just saying the other night, I was over at her house, that, they would come and get Jaylee or something, and Kristen would just be talking, and then they would go to leave, and she'd start talking again, and Jamie would be behind her like, oh God, we're never going to go home, And so, I want to make it clear that she, I didn't see them as much as my mom, but they were super close to my mom, both of them, and so, their lives pretty much revolved around all of these kids. Everybody keeps saying, oh my God, they had so many kids. They did, but that's what it revolved around. 3 of them lived there. The other ones were always around. His 12-year-old is actually at my mom's house right now. So, all of these kids were very loved and taken care of,
I can't imagine what they're going through, and thank you for reminding us that there are so many children whose lives have been affected by this. Is there anything else you want to say today on behalf of your family? And if you want to look at your
Wait,
notes,
what
you
happened
can,
in North
but,
Carolina?
I want you
Is
to
that the
feel
bus thing?
heard today.
I think we covered it all. I think that's it. Unless you have something.
The bus
I
thing.
think that's it.
I'm asking if it was the
the
bus
deeper
thing. The
questions
girl that
we all
got
have
stabbed on the
will,
rail. Yeah.
Play themselves out the
That's
answers.
fucking crazy.
Absolutely.
Possible
That guy was
arrests.
like a criminal, like a
We
career
respect and
criminal.
understand that you're protecting this investigation, and I think
I
that
watched the
much of our curiosity will have to wait. But I want
like
you to know
footage of
that,
it.
we feel for your family and your loss, and if we can help in any way, we want to continue following the story for you, and we're so sorry that true crime is affected and come into your family's life.
Yes, thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
thanks for letting me talk here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. May justice be served.
It is hella fucking sad.
Today I have new information in the case of Sarah Grace Patrick, the teen who allegedly shot and killed her mom and stepdad in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I saw
about
that.
the case for months.
He got federal charges.
Even urging TikTok content creators to cover it. She also gave a speech at the funeral.
I just wanted to say goodbye to my mom and Jamie since we never got the chance to.
That is a speech that raised red flags for certain members of the family.
Being front row at that funeral, she never shed a tear.
I spoke with the family of Sarah Grace's stepdad, James Brock, what his niece wants you to know about Sarah Grace Patrick.
She's not the Sarah that you guys know. You don't see the real Sarah.
And for the first time, we are hearing from Sarah Grace's biological dad, the man who drove his daughter to turn herself in on 2 counts of murder. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. I just did an interview with James Brock's niece. She lost her uncle to murder, and she has a lot to say about the girl who is accused of causing it. I'll have that full interview in just a moment, but we also have some new information on this case that I want to get you. Sarah Grace's biological father is going public with his thoughts since his daughter's arrest. Before I get to that, I want to get you caught up on this case. There has been a lot of developments in just the past week. This is Sarah Grace Patrick. She is 17 years old, the suspect in this case. Back on February 20th of this year, her mom and stepdad were found shot dead in their bed inside their home in Carrollton, Georgia. And these are the victims. James, who many called Jamie, and Kristen Brock. Not only was Sarah in the house the night of the murders, but also the couple's 5-year-old daughter, who law enforcement say found her parents shot dead. In the weeks and months after the murders, Sarah Grace was very public with her feelings on social media. She posted regularly on TikTok, mourning the loss of James and Kristen, and she also spoke at their funeral.
Never take a hug or anyone or anything for granted. In love with all that you have in you like they did. And lastly, my take on not taking people for granted. I want to thank my family, also known as my Cata fam, my grandparents, my siblings, Jaylee, Donnie, Jaden, Jojo, Trent, Tristan, Ashley, and Jesse for helping me get through my worst nightmare. And last but not least, I want to thank Tasha, Bree, Nate, Layton, Kimberly Hayes, Kim Bowling, Katie, and most of all,
it's like it's a
Angie and Ben for making such a
like a reward.
Jamie and Mama would have thanked y'all too. I love you guys, and so do I, and so do they. I'm sorry.
You heard her give a list of people at the end that she was thanking for their support, and you also heard her say, quote, sorry at the end of the speech. We spoke to the spokesperson for the Carroll County Sheriff's Office who told us to her that was a red flag. It also was a red flag for certain members of James Brock's family, and you'll hear about that momentarily. It was just about a week ago that law enforcement announced they had made an arrest in Jamie and Kristen's murders after roughly 5 months of investigating, and the name of the person they say did it, Sarah Grace Patrick.
Today we can confirm that an arrest has been made in the case. Kristen Brock's 17-year-old daughter, Sarah Grace Patrick, has been taken into custody and charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault.
Law enforcement said that Sarah Grace's biological father drove her to the sheriff's office after she was told that she had warrants out for her arrest. Her dad is now going public with his thoughts on his daughter being accused in this double murder. He put up this lengthy post on Facebook that says in part, quote, I just want to go on the record and say I know everybody is talking. Many people were talking about things that they don't even know. They are just talking and writing about stuff that is completely false. He goes on to say, my daughter is 100% innocent. If you want to talk to anybody about me and my daughter's relationship, come straight to me. I'm not hiding. And I don't want all of the attention like everybody else. February 21st, I had to come home and tell my son that his mother and stepfather were dead. It was the hardest thing I ever had to do until I had to take my daughter to the sheriff's office. I did not turn her in. She voluntarily went there because of the warrants. She has nothing to hide. Law enforcement has said they have a, quote, their words, mountain of evidence against Sarah Grace Patrick. But at this point, they have not revealed what specific evidence they have in this case. They also have told me that they're currently interviewing potential suspects and more arrests are possible. While Sarah Grace's dad and her grandfather on her mom's side, who we spoke to, are standing by her, and he says that he believes she's innocent, her grandfather also told me that he has spoken to Sarah in jail and she is maintaining her innocence. The family of James Brock, her stepdad, is now giving their side to the story. Before we get back to this episode of On the Case, I do need to take a moment and talk about our partners at Thrive Market. They are all about making sure you can get healthy foods and you don't have to break the bank when you do it. Thrive Market's an online grocery store where you can shop healthy and sustainable products, and all of them are delivered right to your door. And one of the best parts about Thrive Market is they do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. They restrict more than 1,000 questionable ingredients from all of the products that they carry. I really like these sweet potato chips. Great snack for the middle of the day. High protein, low sugar, helps you beat those midday cravings. With Thrive Market, you can shop everything from pantry staples and snacks like I just showed you, but even personal care items from the comfort of your home. And they're committed to sustainability. So not only are you taking care of yourself, but also the planet. And they have an easy to use website and app. That way you can filter your dietary preferences. Maybe you're into keto, you're gluten-free, vegan, or just trying to make healthier decisions. Thrive Market has something for everyone. So if you're ready to make healthy shopping as easy as just a few clicks, join Thrive Market today. We have this QR code on the screen as well as a link below. You can also go to thrivemarket.com/onthecase. That way you'll get 30% off your first order and a free gift when you join Thrive Market today. I spoke to Jamie's niece. She is now speaking on behalf of her side of the family, and she had a lot to say. Joining us now to talk a little bit more about this case is Kristen Dowda, who is Jamie Brock's niece. Thank you for joining us on Law and Crime. I know it's been a lot over the past several months, but especially in the past week or so. What was your reaction when Sarah Grace was arrested?
I can't say I was totally shocked. We had suspicions of her. But I guess overall, I felt relieved that hopefully, we're going to get justice in this case. The investigators have done so much work over these 5 months. I'm confident that they've gone through everything and to get this arrest, I don't think it's to get 4 warrants being for murder, makes me feel like they have enough, to have made this arrest for a judge to have signed off on it. So I'm confident we'll get justice in this case now.
And you believe that she is the person responsible for the murders of Jamie and Kristen?
I do.
Was there a moment over the past several months where you kind of reached a point in your head where you felt like she would be the person responsible?
It's pretty much from the beginning, the gunshots, of course, that's the big one that left something in everyone's head, how did you not hear the gunshots? It's record now that it was more than 4 shots. It's on record now that the 5-year-old in the house heard them.
I mean, I know you go back to it because this is your family, but just the fact that she found her parents just really, I think anybody watching this story, it's something that's just so difficult. In going back, I mean, the house, let's go there. I know you've been in the home. What is the makeup of it?
So the house was very small, and all of the bedrooms are located in the same area. It's not, to my best guess, maybe 8 feet from Jamie and Kristen's room to Sarah's room. Like I said, we know for a fact there's a minimum of 4 shots that were fired. He was on an LVAD machine, and if you've never heard one, it is so loud. You can hear it from outside. It's that way for a reason. It's meant to tell you that something is very wrong with your heart. And like I said, that the 5-year-old in the home heard the shots. And so that's a lot of noise for a small space and for the rooms to be so close. I don't think the TV being on is that relevant.
And there's been a lot, and I know you were there, the funeral for your uncle and Kristen. and the speech that Sarah gave, this eulogy.
James
Shit's
and Mom
pretty.
wanted to thank y'all too. I love you guys, and so do I. And so did I. I'm sorry.
What was going through your mind? Not only because I know you're there mourning the loss of your uncle and his wife, but what was going through your mind as you watched that speech?
It was
Yeah,
one of
like
the
and
weirdest things
sub.
I've ever seen. I had my best friend with me, and we were just staring at each other the entire time. You know, what is this voice that she's doing? That it sounds
I've
like
watched
crying.
some.
Sure, if you heard of an audio of it, sure, she's crying. But being front row at that funeral, she never shed a tear. She didn't stop. She didn't think about what she was saying. It was a scripted speech. I wouldn't call it a eulogy like people are calling it. It was a speech where she did shout outs at the end of it.
I want to thank my family, also known as my Cata fam, my grandparents, my siblings, Jaylee, Donnie, Jaden, Jojo, Trent, Tristan, Ashley, and Jesse for helping me get through my worst nightmare. And last but not least, I want to thank Tasha, Bree, Nate, Lane, Kimberly Hayes, Kim Bowling, Katie, and most of all, my father, Angie, and Ben for making such a big difference.
She shout out probably 15 names at the end.
At the time, and I know it's been brought up now, but she said sorry. At the time, did that send off a red flag for you?
It did, but what was even worse was...
Oh, Brian, can you
she
re-put my
went
Venmo? Because
person
I
to
think
person
I
in our
accidentally
family and said sorry.
unpinned it or something.
You know, what's
'Cause I
worse
don't
than
see
that
it.
is that for 5 months straight, she contacted my mom several times a week and said that she was sorry. And her exact words, sorry that Mr. James is dead. Sorry that you don't have Mr. James. Sorry that your brother died. I mean, it went on and on and on.
She called him Mr. James?
Apparently, I never heard her call him that until these text messages with my mom. She said that she had started calling him Dad recently. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
What interactions did you have prior to these murders with Sarah Grace Patrick?
I wasn't around her a ton. You know, here and there, birthday parties or going to the house, you know. Not a lot of interaction, but every time I was around her, you know, she was a sweet girl. She was.
Hey guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this and come back on later, okay? I'll be back.